after Super Bowl 60 is just a few days away and Anthony is in complete shambles. We give our takes on the game and give our picks for the NFL season awards. Plus, we're going to be grading every new head coaching hire. All that and more right here on Coast Knows Ball. Welcome back to Super Bowl week edition of the Coast Knows Ball podcast. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts. We got Anthony and Barufi here. It is a cold February Wednesday. How are we doing?
Oh my god. Fucking sick already.
Oh, the first illness of the year, huh?
Hopefully the last, right? Fuck.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice and ideal.
Look, my vape, my Vapo stick. Look at this shit. Oh yeah. Let me get that Vapo stick in there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I will say that is a thing that's not a stereotype, but all Hispanic people are addicted to Vicks Vapo Rub. It is a thing, dude. I don't know what it is, but it is with that culture. I learned
so
that trick
good.
from my Latina
So
ex, and now I'm on the Vicks Vapo Rub as well.
It's so good, man. It's unbelievable.
Interesting, very interesting.
It does not.
Well,
you
mentioned, of course, the weather. I imagine because you said that it's very cold in Kansas right now. We are in a bit of a warm spell here in Central California. We had the tool fog for multiple months over the winter, and that was freaking crazy and surreal stuff. But now we're like it is getting up to almost 70 degrees in the afternoon, and of course it dips down to 40 again at night. So we're in that like very tumultuous stage of weather right now, but it's been nice.
Well, I'm glad that it's not the bad weather yet for you. We've had our first snowstorm already here in Kansas, and it's put me out a battery and a tire, so love life.
Yeah, that's not good.
Can't wait to move to Colorado where it'll be even colder.
Oh my.
But we're getting through it. It's gonna be sunny as can be tomorrow and Friday, so that'll be nice.
Well, what are we doing first here,
well,
Jacob? You did such a great job on the intro.
I think thank you. I think the right thing to do here is to give our season awards as well, and then follow that up with our coaching hires, and just kind of do it in chronological order.
Okay, very well.
Finishing with our Super Bowl picks.
Okay, so with that being said, I don't know if you guys would rather like just go based on like who we think of the 5 that have been nominated should win, or if we have our own personal picks as well, we can do it that way. But I'm probably mostly going to be adhering to the top 5 because most of my answers are in the top 5 of each category.
Likewise.
So, what do you guys think?
Let's just adhere to the top 5.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, we can start. Do we want to start like? Do we want to start with Coach of the Year, then go up to Most Valuable Player, or do we want to just go down the list that I have in front of me on NFL.com?
Let's go down the list in front of you. That'll work.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So, starting off, of course, AP's Most Valuable Player. The 5 players nominated were Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Chris McCaffrey, and Matthew Stafford. Go ahead and give me your picks for MVP, guys.
Holy polar bear.
I am going with Drake May here. He had the more impressive season for me. I understand that Matthew Stafford had the more efficient touchdown to interception ratio. I also know that 12 of those were within 5 yards. And I get that part of that is connection. I also understand that it's a lot easier when you have said connection. I also am just really valuing the deep efficiency from Drake May. He was throwing the ball deep all season, and while throwing the ball deep, he was extremely accurate in his ball placement with realistically only one top-end receiver, and that one being an aging Stephon Diggs. So, all things considered, I find the season out of Drake May significantly more impressive, especially when you look at the supporting cast that Matthew Stafford had. It genuinely, I think, separates the two.
Okay. Vitor?
I completely agree. I could just sign below what Jacob said and making my own comments. And I think that should prove my non-bias.
It should, especially
Totally
because on Twitter,
non-biased.
I thought you were gonna go with Stafford based on what you were saying on Twitter last
But you
night.
see, like, but that's exactly my point. Right? Even though, so for those who obviously didn't see my discussion on Twitter, but basically I was arguing against. So basically, who I don't even know what guy in what program, but this guy. Correct me, Jacob, if you remember it. He said, "Oh, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, Drake May is elite."
Yep.
And to me, there's so many variables that play into calling a player elite, especially if you're just winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, just parentheses. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls. Nobody thinks Eli Manning's elite, and against Tom Brady nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
So
Eli
that is an
Manning might be
example.
the only Hall of Famer that isn't elite.
No, there's no
If
way.
he's
There's
ever
got to
going
be
to be a
some
Hall of
other
Famer.
ones. Yeah, I don't know if he makes it.
No,
He
there's
might
gotta be
make
other
it
ones.
just because of his last name, right? And it'll be like on
I
fourth or
think you
fifth
should
ballot.
make
But
it. How do you tell the story of the NFL without Eli Manning? That's a different debate. That's
Yeah, that's a whole different episode. But anyway, my comment here is about Drake May. And I said basically what I think you guys are tired of hearing me say in the podcast, that the NFL fans are too early to crown or doom a player. And same thing with Drake May, right? We're just too early on it. Second year. I don't care if he wins the Super Bowl. And quite frankly, I don't even care if he plays well and wins the Super Bowl. He needs another season. Like, I think it's just simply too early. You can call him very good. I think he's very good. I think he's going to be elite. But you can't call him elite right now. I think there's been enough examples of players falling off rather quickly.
I
So,
think it's okay to predict him to be elite next season. If you are not predicting or forecasting, I think it is soon to call him elite.
fair enough. We can get behind that.
So yeah, that's where I stand on it.
I also
I can get
found it.
behind that. I just cannot get behind calling him elite right now. That I cannot get behind. Or if he just wins the Super Bowl. That to me is just empty.
Depends on how he plays. If he has like a Tom Brady performance in the Super Bowl, we can start having that conversation. But
Yeah,
We'll,
and
we'll think about that later.
even in that clip that you were talking about, or that you posted about earlier, like, why do we even care about who wins Super Bowl MVP anyways? Because Jalen Hurts won it last year, and don't get me wrong, he had a good game in the Super Bowl, but he was nowhere
Julian
near.
Edelman was a Super Bowl MVP.
Like, yeah, what are we talking about with the significance of the MVP
And his team
award?
scored 13 points.
Right,
His team scored 13 points and he won Super Bowl MVP. And his play was he didn't even have the star play of the game. It was Gronk who had the star play of the game on the diving seam route.
Yeah, so
Super Bowl MVP is the most not matter award of all time. They literally pick it out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I remember in the 2019 Super Bowl, the Chiefs against the Niners, and it should have gone to Damian
It
Williams
should have
that
been Damian
year,
Williams.
but they still crowned it to Patrick
Oh
Mahomes
my
for
God,
his first
Boomer
Super
fucking
Bowl.
Sinner. Damian Williams had a game that year.
But yeah, like it
Sorry.
was completely like derailed because of the quarterback bias or whatever you want to call it. But the point being, like, I just don't care about Super Bowl MVP, and I'm so shocked that people are using that as like an argument to justify calling someone great or elite, or weighing that over success. Like, win the Super Bowl first, then we can talk about like who was really deserving of the MVP award.
Yeah, because didn't Cooper Kupp win Super Bowl MVP when it should have been Aaron Donald?
You might be right about that. Let's see, who
Yep.
won. What Super Bowl was that?
That was Super Bowl 56 against the
56
Bengals.
MVP. Yep, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, how is that not Aaron Donald?
I don't know. It's a great question.
I don't know, man.
Okay, but so you guys are both going Drake May, correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're going Stafford.
I am not going Stafford. I think when you are a counting stats person, that is the obvious pick. I think when you are actually weighing how truly valuable a player is to a team, like, you remove that player and they are nothing. It's Josh Allen out of this lineup, 100%. But he doesn't have the statistical backing this year to justify that either. So I'm going to take someone in the happy middle, and that is also Drake May, who had the statistical backing but also the player value on his team to justify winning an award like this. Nothing to discredit Stafford. He had a fantastic season, and the stats showcase that. But if you put a replaceable level quarterback or a league average quarterback on this football team, and they're still probably a playoff team, it's going to be a very negligible difference. Whereas the whole reason that the Patriots are peaking this early after picking in the top 5 last season is because of Drake May's development as a player and as the centerpiece to this team and this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
Totally true.
Another thing that's not being talked about is Drake May is protecting the ball way better than any second-year quarterback who is supposed to be a raw talent is supposed to do. This is a guy who we thought was supposed to take the longest out of the quarterbacks in last year's class to make a career in the NFL. And he's protecting the ball better than anybody else in his class. And it's just impressive from an IQ perspective and maturity from the quarterback position. He's doing everything right. You can't ask anything else out of Drake May so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we are, second year as a pro, first year for Vrabel as the head coach of the Patriots, and then Super Bowl, long career ahead. Okay. So most valuable player, we're all in agreement there. We're all congruent, which is very cool. Next up on the list, defensive player of the year. And the 5 nominees
Do we even have to go through this one?
I don't think so, but I do want to shout out the other 4 guys. Will Anderson Jr., Nick Bonito, Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson, and Micah Parsons.
Shout out Danielle Hunter. The reason why Danielle Hunter doesn't get a spot in that top 5 is because his teammates are on the top 5 as well. So I want to give a shout out to Danielle Hunter for having an amazing season this season. And yeah, it's Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed actually that they went all edge rushers. Like we couldn't get one DB that had a dominant year. Like we had a couple of fantastic seasons from defensive backs.
Who would it be?
Stingley had a
Definitely
fantastic year.
Jalen
Another, really, you could pick 2 or 3 of the Houston Texans DBs there. Christian Gonzalez, though
I understand Stingley had a lockdown season, but Petrie probably had the most aura out of any player this entire year.
And that's fair too.
If there was a player I enjoyed watching this season, it was Jalen Petrie. Every single play he made was banging. He was putting people on the ground.
I was a fan of Emawari. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute.
We love Nick Emawari.
Yeah.
Newsflash, he was a good pick. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, but any of those Houston DBs I thought would be a good one. J.C. Horn and Christian Gonzalez, though they missed a little bit of time, both were fantastic this year. Like, you could have thrown a bone to one guy because we knew that this was a lock already for who was going to win. Like, did you really have to nominate Micah Parsons or Aiden Hutchinson? One of the, like, Micah Parsons or Aiden Hutchinson, obviously number 5 on this list of 5, and Micah Parsons didn't even finish the season healthy, so I don't know. It's my minor gripe.
Fair.
All right.
Portland hangs on to win by 7 against Gonzaga. That is hilarious.
There you go. All right. Next up, Offensive Player of the Year. We have Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. This one's an interesting
Devon H. and Rob.
debate here.
JSN.
Okay, so Jacob's got
no
JSN.
shot you think that.
Vitor, what do you got? Out of those
Sorry,
5.
I just don't agree with Puka morally. I don't like him. So I'm gonna go with JSN.
He's a fucking kid, bro. He's a fucking kid.
He's so fucking stupid. No offense, dude. I'm sorry.
No. He's fucking stupid. All due respect, bro.
He's making millions. I'm in my grandparents' basement. I could pass an IQ test above him. That's all I'm saying.
Let me tell you.
That's awesome. Vitor, who do you got for OPOY?
I got the Emerald City Route Artist.
Yes. We got to get that nickname going. Let's go.
You know what's funny? Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad, man.
Oh, come on, man. It's 4 words. It's 4 words. There's no way.
What is this?
Oh, there was a reporter. What was it? Bladen Kirk. At least I saw him post it. I don't know if he was the reporter that asked, but
the single worst nickname I think I've ever heard in my entire life for anyone.
Watch the video.
It is, and dude, JSN's look on his face when he has to acknowledge the name.
You could tell he was embarrassed.
It's so fucking lame, dude. I'm sorry. No disrespect, but come on.
Dude, I gotta be the only one that doesn't think it's that bad, man.
Yeah, dude, that's nice. That's yep, good nickname, dude.
Look,
yeah, that's nice.
There are worse nicknames, but that is so fucking boring, and it's so long. His name is already three words long.
He's a route artist, man.
Jason, we're good. The Emerald City route artist is here.
You just can't do it, man. You just can't do it. You got to figure out like an animal or something that he can be named after. You can't do Emerald City route artist.
His name is already so long, so it's Jackson Smith Najingba, the Emerald City route artist.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. But also, the reason it doesn't work too is because Emerald City and route artist mean nothing when they're just put in a vacuum. It only is meaningful, kind of, when talking about JSN or any Seattle receiver for that matter. But like, what does Emerald City and route artist have to? It's just super boring and super long. Just not a good.
Guys, listen to this AI headline. Listen to this AI headline. JSN's breakout year overshadowed by cringy Emerald City route artist nickname. Overshadowed.
That's so funny.
That's insane.
Yeah. So we're picking JSN.
Yep. So you both have JSN. Very worthwhile pick. And I hate to be the guy. But
hate to be the guy to pick your own player.
We're all gonna be agreeing again. A very slight edge to Jason. I would really think it would be awesome if McCaffrey got both Offensive Player of the Year and Comeback Player of the Year in the same awards, but I don't expect that to happen, of course. I think Puka Nacua probably
HN should also be the Comeback Player of the Year if you really think about it, bro, because he has to be the running back for Tua. Like, that can't be no easy feat, bro.
Well, Trevor Lawrence is on the short list for Comeback Player. The fuck did he come back from? Being bad.
Like, Comeback Player of the Year is the most stupid award, bro, because they don't know what the fuck they're coming back from.
Outside of Trevor Lawrence this year, though, it's actually not bad because we'll get to it. I'll show.
Yeah, but there's always a polar bear. There's always a polar bear.
Yeah. They're always.
Can we talk about how Joe Flacco winning it was the dumbest thing of all time?
Geno Smith the year before too. Like those were both like, what did you come back from?
Tua should have won at least one Comeback Player of the Year, bro. Like, dude,
at least with Geno, he had like a decade of shit play to back up the comeback. I mean, like,
you coming back?
Joe Flacco was just came off the couch Player of the Year.
Yeah, but that's not how we define adversity either. We don't say you come back from being bad. No, the whole point is that injuries are
you
part
suck.
of the sport.
Now you don't.
and the even worse though was that Joe Flacco was the DeMar Hamlin year too, and I just don't know how you don't award someone who died on the field twice and comes back to life, and you don't give it to him. I just can't believe that. How do you do that?
You know how sad that shit is. You know how sad that shit is.
Didn't they give it to him the next year though?
They gave it to him like 2 years later. Yeah. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because he came back from sucking.
Yeah, because he was actually a decent player. That's when they gave it to him. Like, are you serious right now? You didn't give it to him after he died?
Coming back from playing like shit, not from coming back from death.
Like, you see how silly this award is? We'll just get to it right now since we're talking about it. The 5 nominees: Stephon Diggs, Aiden Hutchinson, Trevor Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott.
Why is Diggs on there?
Why is
Diggs tear his ACL last year or something?
Yeah, he did. Halfway through the year. So, like I said, like the other 5 make sense because they got hurt and they had a good year.
Wait, what were the other names? I only heard Diggs because I was laughing too hard.
Stephon Diggs, Aiden Hutchinson, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, and then Trevor Lawrence is the polar bear.
You see what's my issue with Christian McCaffrey?
No.
Every fucking year he's a comeback player of the year candidate because he's always fucking
No,
hurt.
every other year. There's a big
Man,
difference.
Shut up,
every
man.
other year.
Man, he's always coming back from something. At that point, you're not coming back from shit. That's your routine.
McCaffrey's been in the Bay Area for 3 years, and he's already doing his best Giants impression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every other year.
No shit.
But
you know
yeah,
who's
it is
not?
McCaffrey.
You know who's not listed, though, on the comeback player of the year? Brandon Ayuk. Who's shocked about that one?
It's not because he didn't come back.
Oh no, watch out. There's a shooter out there.
Oh God, he's speeding away. He's speeding away with the award. Get him!
Hey, you know what? I forgot to mention this in the small talk part of the show, but shout out to the NFL for outright stating that there will not be ice officials at the event of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, shout out.
They needed to make that stance.
Yeah.
They needed to make that stance.
I'm sure there will still be some controversy the day before or something.
Oh, yeah. But I'm glad they took that stance. I mean, bare minimum, but we're glad they did the bare minimum.
Spoiler alert, like, public venues like that are supposed to be safe spaces. You're not supposed to be able to get murdered when you're in a public space. So, well done,
dude,
NFL.
actually, I watched an interview with Kash Patel today. It was recorded today. And he said that you are not allowed to bring a gun to a protest.
That's absolutely crazy. For the FBI head to say that. Absolutely crazy. This is where we are right now.
Second Amendment doesn't exist. First Amendment doesn't exist.
Only for the people that they disagree with. That's the key distinction. Because remember, Kyle Rittenhouse is more than allowed to have his weapons. And we all agreed, most of us agreed, yes, he was in his right to defend himself and carry a weapon onto that protest. But all of a sudden, when other people do it who disagree with you, it becomes a problem. Yeah.
And what they love to do is wait until after the person is dead to be like, oh, but they were actually a really bad person. And so it's okay that they died anyways.
Yeah.
And so you're justifying his murder because he happened to murder someone who is also a bad person.
Retroactively.
Like, no, they should just both. Yeah, like when gang violence happens, you don't say, oh, well, he killed another gang member, so it's actually not a murder. That's fucking stupid.
Yep.
Anyways.
Look, I know we try to not be, political or anything on the show, but I think that was actually a really nice point that you made, to incorporate that and give props to the NFL, who we're very critical of all the time. And I think it's just, especially right now with how turbulent things are and how awful things are, it's very important to, put a stick in the sand and, plant your flag and tell people, like, this is how it is, this is how it should be. Yeah. So thank you for speaking out.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, back to regular scheduled programming. So
head coach of the year.
We all agree Christian McCaffrey comeback player, not Brandon Ayuk. Coach of the year's up next.
Car driver of the year.
Yeah.
That needs to be a coast to coast award, the car driver of the year award.
Because every year, man. Did you guys see what McKenna did? Hockey prospect?
No.
You didn't.
So McKenna is the upcoming number 1 overall prospect for the next year's draft. Pretty much consensus, right? He had a fucking fight. I guess it was at a bar or something. He had a fight today. He has 4 accusations of a felony.
Oh.
And he broke a guy's jaw.
Wow.
Sounds like a hockey player.
That sounds like a hockey player, but
his draft stock went up. That's what I heard.
Well, it's really unfortunate because he would be more than okay and exonerated if he was an NFL player, but NHL, I'm not too sure about that.
He is NHL.
Where's the precedent?
At the same time, Carter Hart is playing in the NHL right now, so I wouldn't be too sure.
See, look at us. We're getting right back to taking jabs at the NFL.
Yeah,
we pat them on the back for 1 second, and then we're.
We gotta let them know. We gotta keep them posted. They can't forget.
Never forget.
What were we talking about? Comeback player of the year? Yeah.
Coach of the year.
Not fucking. Wait. Who was our comeback player? Stephon Diggs?
McCaffrey. obviously.
McCaffrey, I mean, but nah, man. McCaffrey's always coming back.
The only other
Hutchinson.
option is Dak Prescott, I think. Like, I don't know. But McCaffrey is running away with that one 100%. It'll be his third one.
I mean, yeah, out of performance, sure, but I'm just being annoying because he's always hurt.
Yeah, he is always hurt. He finally
I'm sure he's annoyed too, Broofy.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah. All right, Coach of the Year, we got Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, and Mike Vrabel. Honestly, one of the tightest races for Coach of the Year that we've probably ever had. We oftentimes have at least one or two that are like, how did they even get nominated? And some of them end up winning, like Kevin Stefanski or Jason Garrett.
Stefanski twice.
Yeah, but this year I would not be upset.
I'll give Kevin Stefanski credit for getting the Browns to the playoffs that first time. It was impressive the first time. The second time, not so much.
Yeah. But point being, I think that this is a very tight race. All of them are deserving. I do think that there is a very clear hierarchy, at least in my opinion, a clear ranking of them. But they were all very, very strong coaching jobs this year, and probably the 5 best.
Yeah, I still think it's Mike Vrabel. I understand that it's supposed to be regular season award, but I think that's stupid. So I'm going to factor in the fact that his team's in the fucking Super Bowl and that he had a 3-win team last year. And so...
Well, he inherited one.
Inherited a 3-win team last year. Obviously, Vrabel didn't lose 13 games himself, or 14 games himself. But inherited a 14-loss roster, turned around. He's in the Super Bowl. He has a second-year quarterback who's playing with the IQ of a veteran. Everything about the job is just it's a coaching job. Like it was the Vrabel effect. Like Titans fans are seething about the fact that he's gone right now. So I think that as tight as it is, I think he is the guy. It's him and Mike McDonald, but I think it is him.
How would you rank them 1 to 5? So Vrabel, McDonald, then who?
Vrabel, McDonald, Cohen, Peyton, and then probably D'Amico Ryans.
Oh, so you're not going just based on the list then?
Who's the other one?
The other 2 are Ben Johnson and Kyle Shanahan. So it's Vrabel, McDonald, Cohen, Shanahan, Johnson. Those are the 5 that were nominated.
Man, I'm kind of upset that D'Amico didn't get nominated. I'm cool with leaving Payne off of that, though. For those, I would probably have Shanahan at 5. I understand the job is still very impressive, but that Eagles team also just looked really fucking bad. And then I would have the Ben Johnson at 4.
Okay. Vitor, what's your ranking and who wins Coach of the Year for you?
I think it's a very tight race. I think all 5 are deserving of it. I can see any of them winning it. But to me, I would clearly say it's Shanahan in my eyes and what he did with that team, as injured as it was. It's not often you see a team that beat up and then bringing in players off the street performing so well. I think he deserves his flowers because of that. So on that note, Shanahan is my number 1. Vrabel was my second because that Patriots team was not that good, obviously, last year. Defense didn't change that much as well, but you can tell there's a difference in how they play. So I gotta give him the nod there. I'll say Ben Johnson at 3, kind of for a similar reason as Mike Vrabel, but Ben Johnson had his expectations, but I do think he exceeded them. Being a first year head coach in the NFL is not an easy job, but he gave an identity to this Bears team that has been missing one for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. So. Good for Bears fans. Remind me again, who were the other 2?
Mike McDonald and Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen. So Cohen is my 5th, and McDonald is my 4th. That'll be my ranking.
Okay. Well, finally we have all different answers.
I do think, by the way, McDonald was on paper a better coach than Ben Johnson. I'm just looking at the context and why I put Ben Johnson above.
No, that's fair. Again, these are all very tight in my opinion. But
100%.
This will be the first award where we all have different results, which is fun.
You have McDonald winning it, don't
I
you?
do have Mike McDonald winning, and a very close second being Kyle Shanahan. The real reason that I don't choose Shanahan, even though this is maybe the year to pick him, and being a Niners fan, that would be even more futile to fire, but he got outcoached by Mac McDonald twice in a row. If you're talking Seahawks games, so that's a pretty big deal, I think, especially the regular season one, because not technically supposed to factor in the playoff game, but he got outcoached in that game, and that game was for the 1 seed. I feel like the person who won that game might have gotten the shot at the coach of the year, or the better shot rather. But of course, now that Vrabel is in the Super Bowl, I think that Vrabel's going to win. That would be my prediction. But that's my number 4 coaching job out of these 5. I have McDonald, Shanahan, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, and then Liam Cohen in 5th. For very similar reasons.
I have an issue with you having Ben Johnson over Vrabel, because Ben Johnson had really low IQ out of his quarterback for a large part of the playoffs.
That's fine. We're just gonna disagree about very small, minute details that's going to separate. Again, these are my top 5. Like, I would not have a different list at all. These are my top 5. A big reason about it is I'm not crediting Drake May's development to Mike Vrabel necessarily. I think he's a very good CEO coach, and I think he can amass a very solid enough supporting core of coaches around him, even though the play calling I was not a fan of on offense. But I think that Drake May develops regardless, obviously not with a Jared Mayo as his head coach, but I think he develops regardless of who's there. Now, do they make the Super Bowl in the first year that head coach is around? Most likely not. And that's why Mike Vrabel gets his flowers as being nominated, and he's going to win. I mean, this is, I think it's a fairly safe bet at this point that Vrabel will win coach of the year. But I don't quite credit the success of the team to him as much as I do to the other 3 ahead of him. Again, still number 4 best coaching job of the year, and very close.
Fair enough.
Okay. Real quick, the rookie of the year for both offense and defense, we did skip over. For offensive rookie of the year, we have Jackson Dart, Emeka Egbuka, Ravion Henderson, Tetsuo McMillan, and Tyler Shuck. I don't think this one should be a contest. I 100% have Tetsuo McMillan winning this award. Very consistently solid all year. He was a security blanket in his first year for Bryce Young at quarterback. Very productive despite that turbulence with Bryce Young that we saw all year. I was really impressed with him. He kind of did exactly what I wanted him to do in his first year coming out of college. So yeah, and whereas other guys like Tyler Shuck, it's cool that he's here because he was quite good in his 6 weeks that he started, but he also only started 6 or 7 weeks. Jackson Dart,
6-7.
Yep, 6-7. Jackson Dart should not be listed. Quite plain and simple. He had 2 good games, and the rest of it was bad or injured.
Yeah, Armand Membu erasure.
Yep, totally snubbed, 100%. Egbuka, again, same thing. Like, he started off really hot and immediately fell off a cliff. He was not good for the remainder second half of the season. And then Travion Henderson, not used enough. It was a promising rookie season, but man, Ramondre Stevenson kind of dominated that run game for multiple significant portions of the season.
I'm trying to find the betting odds for it because, like going into week 18, Tyler Shuck was the favorite to win. So I'm just trying to see if the odds are still listed, but it should be
same
10.
Guy who hated the pick, by the way.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying Tyler Shuck should win it. I was joking when I said Shuck. I don't want Shuck to win. Quite frankly,
Shuck to win.
No.
I will say it is.
Why
really
would I
funny
want
that Shuck gets on this short list when, like, 4 years ago, Brock Purdy did the exact same thing that Tyler Shuck did. Of course, the Niners were winning games mostly before Brock Purdy went in and became the starter. But he won 5 straight fucking football games, and he wasn't put on the short list. And that's kind of exactly what Tyler Shuck did for the Saints this year. But here's Shuck nominated. Anyway, That's old news. Old.
Okay, after week 18, because Tyler Shuck played like shit, he's down to third place. Jackson Dart is second place for some stupid reason, and then is
Quarterback
like the clear
bias.
favorite.
Yeah.
Travion Henderson doesn't make sense to me. Why is he on here?
I think 3 of these guys really don't belong. But the problem is, like, I just don't know. I mean, Quinshon Judkins could make sense. I think him over Henderson makes sense as well. If you wanted to nominate a running back, Armand Menbu 100% should be on here. But like, there wasn't that much impressive offensive rookie play. I was much more impressed by the defensive class this year, which we'll
100%.
get to.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. But also, if Memba was nominated, he would have been my pick, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I have the bias of being so high on him out of the draft.
He was the best rookie.
I think so. Yeah, just plain simple.
Certainly top 3 at least. Yeah.
But you know, he is a offensive lineman, so not
I mean, it's either him or Carson Schlesinger.
Or the other guy.
Or Nick Manwari.
Tetro McMillan obviously up there too. But Vitor,
yeah, McMillan.
Are you going with McMillan? Yeah, okay.
Yes, McMillan's great.
So we're all on the same page once again, and maybe we'll have a split once again here based on that foreshadowing. Defensive Rookie of the Year. The 5 nominees are Abdul Carter, Nick Emenwari, James Pierce Jr.
How is Abdul Carter on there?
Carson
That is
Schlesinger,
such a horrible nomination.
and Xavier Watts.
Abdul Carter is such an undeserved nomination.
Yeah, he was pretty underwhelming this year. I would probably disagree with that as well.
He wasn't even a top 60 edge rusher. How are you not a top 60 edge rusher as the 3rd overall pick? That is fucking abysmal. You are not defensive rookie.
Speaks to how poorly coached that defense was in general. It felt like Brian Burns versus everybody. You know? So yeah, tough break.
One-man team.
Hopefully a better defense.
And Tim's had a breakout year. And it was still a one-man show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it's definitely not Abdul Carter for the people who didn't watch him play this year. It's either going to be it's going to be Carson Schlesinger based on betting odds. He's my pick as well. I had him as the best defensive player on the season, but I wouldn't be mad at Nick Emenwari winning it either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like if they factored in playoffs, Nick Emenwari would probably be the lock because he had such a dominant postseason. But when you factor in, they don't, they have to submit their votes before that or, during wildcard weekend or whenever they do. There's definitely obviously a much stronger argument for Schlesinger because he didn't play in the postseason, right? So he didn't get a chance to really show his chops there. But Schlesinger, I really liked. I think we all liked. He was my linebacker too, the best coverage linebacker out of the class. And he immediately shined really. By far the better defensive player that Cleveland took because Mason Graham was also super underwhelming this year.
Yeah, if Jalen Walker didn't have a crazy combine, that guy would not have been anywhere near where he was picked. That guy has been completely underwhelming, and he's not looking like he's going to pan out.
Well, he's a very raw player, and we kind of knew that. Similar to James Pierce Jr., but James Pierce Jr. also has the length that Jalen Walker doesn't have, and so it's James
Pierce at least had a little bit of production this year too.
Yeah, he was a little productive, but I'm also a little bit surprised that Pierce Jr. is on here as well. But like a lot of rookie defensive linemen and edge rushers got injured too, so maybe they're just like, well, we kind of want another edge rusher because those are like the most game wrecking type of players, so we're gonna just keep the guy that was healthy all year. But the other Falcon player that got nominated here had a much better season than James Pierce Jr. did, and that's Xavier Watts. Yeah, he's clearly the number 3 player on this short list.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I'm going to worry.
You can argue that Billy Bowman to start the year was playing better than James Pierce as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, so we've got Jacob for Schlesinger. We have Vitor for Emenwari. I'm the tiebreaker, I guess, if we're going to play it like that. Because it's a regular season award, I'm going to go with Schlesinger. I cannot factor in those playoff games. If I did, it would obviously be Emenwari because he was unreal this postseason. But Schlesinger was also a fantastic player, immediately like a top 10 linebacker.
I'm not factoring in.
Real quick, one thing I didn't mention with Jalen Petrie, he has aura with a Guardian cap on. That's how fucking cool that dude is. It's like having the neck brace and having that shit look cool. Like, when a linebacker has a neck brace, that shit looks cool. If it was a receiver with a neck brace,
Nah, neck
that ain't
brace
cool.
looks tough. Neck brace looks tough.
Especially on a linebacker.
Yeah.
That's what gave who was the Cowboys linebacker? Leighton Vander Esch. That's where he got all his aura from. Was the neck.
Yeah. The classic like 70s defensive player look, yeah.
Yeah. He played 8-man football in high school?
Really? Did not know that.
Yeah, 8-man football in Kansas. That's Leighton Vander Esch's story.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, there's only 30 people there, right?
Dude, we have three
Throwback.
divisions
Yeah, Jacob
for
was playing
8-man
quarterback.
football in Kansas. There are 3 different divisions for... It's stupid.
Dude, Jacob was over there playing quarterback. What do you mean?
Yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah, backup quarterback for the worst football team in Kansas.
Next up, we have head coaching hires. I'm just going to go team by team.
Sorry. Before we get to that, I just want to say why I picked him and Worry. And I recognize what Schlesinger did in regular season. I'm not even factoring postseason. It's mostly because I'm biased to how Worry plays. Like, I'm just attracted to that type of play style.
Let me explain why I picked this guy, and it's completely out of bias.
I'm
He's a DB's kind of guy.
I thought you loved trenches, though. I mean, Schwessinger's not a trench player either, but
yeah, he's not. I mean, I love coverage linebackers. I mean, I praise Fred Warner all the time.
Yeah,
but
Ruthie really goes to bed just dreaming about a good old Dre Greenlaw.
Listen. You guys need to understand. I have a thing for safeties who rack the game. It's not easy to see a player. Yeah. I mean, that's
Ruthie has wet dreams about 2018 Jamal Adams.
No, I doubt
definitely
that.
not Jamal Adams.
2022
Javon
Javon
Holland
Holland.
was quite electric.
That's the guy right there.
Something.
Let Barufi tell you something about Minka Fitzpatrick before the Steelers trade.
He's still decent. Don't sleep.
All right.
Don't sleep.
Did you have anything else to add, or just like game wrecker DB that was really impressive all year? Also well coached, of course.
That makes your blood
fucking
pump.
Dog.
Indeed.
That good enough? They're good enough.
Yeah. It's you've got the floor. If you have anything else to add before we move on.
That's it.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Okay, I am frozen smiling. Okay, there we go.
Not for us.
All right, here we go. I'm just going to go team by team, and we're only going to talk head coaches because there's a lot of other moving pieces, of course, and we just don't want to spend an hour talking about this. So I'm just going to go team by team, name the head coaching hire. We're going to just grade quickly what we think, and and if we disagree, we can talk about that as well briefly. First up, the Arizona...
Stefanski's the best hire in the cycle.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out about that. The first team, the Arizona Cardinals, of course, they fired Jonathan Gannon, and they hired Mike LaFleur as their new head coach.
Great fire, not so great hire. I'm going to go with a C hire on this one. You get slightly better from your previous head coach, but you get a guy who probably still shouldn't be a head coach.
Maybe it's early, right? For a guy like LaFleur,
it's a year early for me. This is a guy who was fired as the Jets offensive coordinator just 2 years ago.
Right. I don't hate it. Similar to what you're saying a little bit. I don't really hate this hire. I like the fact that we're moving away. Certain teams are moving away and just trying and experimenting with young guys. It was Cliff Kingsbury, then it was Jonathan Gannon, now it's Mike LaFleur, and maybe none of these guys stick, and then they revert back. But hopefully this is the guy that ends up sticking for them. And I prefer that young approach because the game is changing. I'm
extremely happy that Udinsky is not hired yet.
Yeah, fair enough. But so I'm going to give the same grade as you, though. This is one of the weaker in the circuit, and it's not a very strong one. I'm going to say a C-. That's my higher. So it's not very good, but fine enough, I guess. Again, weak class of coaches.
Respect Jeff
What are
Halfley.
your thoughts on the
Respect Jeff
hire?
Halfley. Yeah, you guys just. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I mean, we're kind of tired of the guy. I think.
Okay, so we're all at about the C
He
range.
ruined Zach Wilson. Why would I like him?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great point. Okay, next
Exactly
up,
it.
this is going to be an F from me, folks. Just a spoiler warning. The Pittsburgh
Todd
Steelers
Monken?
hired Mike McCarthy. Absolutely.
Hey guys, how can we
F.
get even more mid from Mike Tomlin?
I cannot
God damn,
believe that
yeah,
this
F.
is what the Steelers resulted.
How can we keep Aaron Rodgers, dude? We need to keep Aaron Rodgers. He was what got us to the playoffs.
Yeah. Even though they've been in the playoffs like the last 5 years with no quarterback. now it's gonna be the big deal. Imagine if Rodgers retires after all that too. That would be so fucking funny. Oh my god.
Rodgers is like, I fucking hate McCarthy. I got him out of Green Bay.
Yeah.
I thought he did.
So this is an obvious F for me. I hate the old think he was not good when he was hired by Dallas. That team was
It was
just
an
not
F hire
good.
when Dallas hired him.
I would say it was a D hire at that point, but now it's a 100% an F. I just can't fathom being in the mindset to hire Mike McCarthy for a team like Pittsburgh right now. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Are we in agreement?
Yeah, F.
Vitor?
Worst hire of the cycle.
I am.
Well,
but I like this
actually,
press conference,
Not
so it's a
worst
D
hire of the
minus.
cycle. Worst hire of the cycle is in division. Wait, no. Yeah, in division. Yeah, in division.
Okay, fair enough. It's definitely my worst hire. All right, next.
You have it as worse than. That's crazy.
We'll get to it. Yeah. I mean, you might be able to change my mind.
The opening interview from Munkin was horrible.
You might be able to change my mind, but we'll see. We'll get to it. Next up, the New York Giants. They hired John Harbaugh. They got the ball rolling very quickly. I think they were the first team to announce their hire, and of course, it was right after John Harbaugh was fired. It felt like there was just one thing led to another, and it was very quick. They kind of knew what was going to happen the whole time. I'm not in love with this hire as much as other people are. People, Super Bowl winning head coach going to the New York Giants. This is going to be such a big deal. Blah 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 blah. I mean, he was not good last year. I feel like he's kind of held the team back a little bit in the last couple of years, especially when it comes crunch time in the playoffs and everything like that. Whereas he's had some coordinators now, like Mike McDonald, move on and become very impressive head coaches themselves. So I'm not nearly as in love as everyone else seems to be, but it is still a positive hire. It is a floor raiser, which is very important for a team like the Giants, I think, who have had kind of like a floor collapser the last 3 years with Brian Daboll. So I'm going to give this a B. It's close to my favorite hire, but that's not saying much, again, because it's a weak hiring class, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is gonna warrant a B plus for me because I also I like the coordinator additions. I think that they nailed the entirety of their culture setting for the room, and I think that they're gonna focus on developing Jack. I mean, obviously they're gonna focus on developing Jackson Dart, but I think it's gonna have some success to it as long as they can get him to fucking slide. Because if he doesn't start sliding, it's gonna get over pretty quick.
That's
they're
fair.
probably not gonna win a Super Bowl with Harbaugh.
I don't think so either, but I mean, time will tell. But I think that's very fair. I do agree with it feels just like very organized, and it's something that neither New York team has really felt like they've had the last couple of hiring cycles. So it's good.
Couple of decades.
It's good for them. Yeah, exactly. Vitor, what do you think?
I'm with Jacob here. I like to hire a little more than you. I think it's just because that's what the Giants needed. I think sometimes the front office has to identify what they need, and I think the Giants did a good job at that. And that's not what the Steelers did. For instance, the Steelers just got a guy of the same profile of the guy that they just fired. So, yep, I think that the Giants did a good job. But it's not the sexiest hire, perhaps. Maybe it is on paper, I guess, if we look at the other names. But yeah, I think that's just what they needed. It's probably not the best development for Darts. I mean, although I do like the staff he put together. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Like I said, time will tell. Maybe it's better than we think. But then I'll be lying if I said I didn't want a Harbaugh in Miami for the exact same reasons why the Giants got him. So I gotta like the hire.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Next.
makes sense that you would have wanted Harbaugh, considering you wanted to keep Weaver as your head coach. They're very similar minded.
Yeah.
Next up, the Tennessee Titans. They, of course, fired Brian Callahan halfway through the year, and now they've hired Robert Saleh to take over operations there. What do we think?
They hire Robert Saleh, but they also get an amazing offensive coordinator as well.
Yeah.
All around great success here. I think that this is up there with the Harbaugh hire, so I'm going to give this a B plus as well. I think there were 3 solid hires this cycle, and this is the second one.
I think it's a very good hire. I actually think Salah grew more and more on me as the season went on, and I think people take it too much at face value, like, oh, this guy's a defensive mind, so it's not the best for the QB or whatnot. I mean, an example that just happened is Vrabel and Drake May, right? The guy has to be around good people and good coaches, and I think Salah can be that for Ward. And like Jacob said, he brought in Daboll. I think Daboll can be phenomenal for Ward. So, probably the same grade as well, B plus, maybe closer to A minus than Harbaugh, I think.
Okay.
Not because I don't think Salah is going to be necessarily better than Harbaugh, but I think it's a good fit. I think it's a good click.
Yeah, and one thing that we know that is constant, and we knew this even when he was coaching the Jets, despite how bad it got at the end, and they were generally underwhelming anyway. But his guys play for him, and that's a very, very underrated factor when you think about head coaches. If you guys play with a high motor because they enjoy working for you, like, that's half the battle in itself, more than half of it, frankly. So I think that's very positive for them. To Jacob's point as well, I like it feels very organized, the consolidation of other guys and assistants underneath them very similarly. I guess the reason that I have a slight edge with the Salah hire over the Harbaugh hire is because this is more of a risk, and I think Harbaugh is a little bit more of a safe option, even though they are going to kind of fulfill similar roles, I think. But this, I just enjoy taking risks like this a lot, a big deal. So, especially for such a proven defensive coordinator guy. So, yeah, I'm going to go B plus for this one. Currently my favorite that we've talked about. Next up, I think this is the one that Jacob was referring to, the Baltimore Ravens. They, of course, let go of John Harbaugh and replace him with Jesse Minter.
What are you talking about? When I said referring to, no, the Browns hire was the fucking worst hire.
Yeah.
No. Your other
There's
favorite
no
hire.
way.
Your other favorite hire.
Oh yeah, I do like Jesse Minter a lot. I understand it's very similar culture. Obviously, literally, you're hiring a Harbaugh disciple to replace a Harbaugh. I get how stupid that can sound. I don't care. You bring in Anthony Weaver on your defensive coordinator. This defense is going to get coached its ass off. You will not have to worry about the Ravens defense with this staff. And if you don't have to worry about the defense at all, and Lamar Jackson is your quarterback, that raises your ceiling. Because with Harbaugh, I didn't have any trust in that defense. And especially with Todd Monken as a fucking offensive coordinator, I don't know how the hell he got a head coaching job, regardless of it being the Cleveland Browns. That guy cannot be a head coach. And he looked like a clown in his opening interview. He does not look prepared to be a head coach. It is going to be an embarrassment. They might, if they didn't have Myles Garrett, they could go 0-16 again. 0-17 now. I hate that hire. It is so disgusting.
We'll get to that.
There are so many better candidates.
We'll get to that. Let's talk about Ravens right now.
Anyways, B minus for the Minter hire, but for the whole staff, I'm going to give it an A minus.
Okay.
I really like Anthony Weaver.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. Vitor?
I like him. Coming from a Dolphins fan. I mean, there was nothing that made me love the Chargers defense, but when I see his attitude, when I see him speak, I think he gives me good vibes. But it's honestly just off of vibes. There's nothing concrete in my feelings with Minter. But if there's an organization I can trust in making the right moves, it's the Ravens. So if they're going after Minter, I think it's got to mean something. So I'm not saying anything bad necessarily about him, but from my interpretation and my feelings, I'd say it's a B minus. So I'll put it under Salah and Harbaugh. But I think this can very easily like shut my mouth and say, yeah, you were wrong about Minter all along. So I wouldn't be surprised if so. But again, my initial reaction is there's nothing that made me ever love the Chargers defense. Other than he fixed the run defense, I guess. Then he made Terry Tart look like a really good defensive tackle. I'm not saying that Terry Tart isn't a very good defensive tackle, but he wasn't always this player, right? So I'll give him credit for that. But we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in a very similar boat here. I think I'm going to land right in the middle of you guys here with a B. Jacob, similar, you mentioned something about the philosophically the same thing that they had before, and I just don't like that. Even more than you don't like it. It feels just very safe. It feels very secure, something that they are familiar with in a way, even if indirectly, because it is a Harbaugh disciple, from LA, and replacing the other Harbaugh in Baltimore. So I'm not a very big fan of that. It feels like just maybe more of the same, but it is a younger mind, at least as far as the NFL sense is concerned. And that is a little bit intriguing. Of course, it is. Uh, I think I'm just very intrigued by this. I want to, stave off my enthusiasm because it is philosophically very safe. But I'm going to give it a B.
Fair enough.
John Harbaugh gets a B.
Do
Jesse Minter
you
gets a B.
Ravens defense over or under top 5 unit?
Under, I think, but top 10. That's a much more interesting conversation.
Okay.
All right, next up, it's one of our teams. It's the Miami Dolphins. Jeff Hafley replacing Mike McDaniel as the head coach there. Vitor, kick us off.
I would be lying if I said he was my number one option because we did talk about the head coaching list, and I did not say that he was my number one option. But that is not a knock on the guy whatsoever. He definitely surprised me positively in his press conference and the staff that he put together. I like Slowick and a lot of familiar faces in his staff. From what I've seen, we lost John Embry, and I wish we had kept him. But other than that, I'm pretty confident with the hire. I think I probably tend to be more of a defensive guy. So I want to see what he's going to do to the Dolphins defense. And him and Jeff Duggan, they have a more of a 4-3 mentality. Of course, they move around a lot. They shift around a lot. They tend to change their playbook a lot. That's one thing I like about Hafley. He often changes and modifies the defense. So, of course, he's going to have 3-4 looks as well. But one thing that bothered me with Miami was, not necessarily a knock on Weaver because it happened before Weaver as well, but often dropping back edge rushers in coverage. That was something that Flores did, and it drove me nuts at times. And that's a little thing that I have an issue with Weaver as well. Sometimes I saw Jalen Phillips dropping back into coverage too much. Same thing with Chop. Like a 4-3 scheme, just more raw, I guess, is gonna allow those guys to be more challenging up front. So I think it's gonna match our players better, I guess, and I think his mentality kind of matches what I think as well when it comes to football. I think they're gonna make HN this the focus of this offense, which is what I've been saying the whole offseason. And what I would do to this Miami team is build the offense around HN and keep him. So I see them building the trenches on both sides and running the ball a lot. So I think their philosophy lines up with what I want, and I also like the hire not because of not just Hafley but Sullivan as well. It seems to me a very smart guy, and I don't think he did this hire out of buddy shit. Maybe it proves me wrong. Maybe they're both horrible, right? Obviously, it is a Miami Dolphins after all, but I do like the hire. I think I'll give it a B plus as well, just because I was pretty vocal on the fact that I wanted a head coach with experience. Now he does have experience in college, right? But that is my own one concern is he probably doesn't have as much experience as I wish he had. So
Okay.
hopefully he starts off well. And I'm not really hoping that he knocks us out of our chairs in the beginning of his career with the Dolphins because I'm not expecting a lot. Quite frankly, you could put Andy Reid in there. I'm not expecting a lot from this group,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially in the beginning of the next year. But we'll see. I think he has potential to be a good coach for sure.
Okay. Jacob, what do you think?
So I really like the Slowick hire as well. Um, we talked about LaFleur getting a job with the Cardinals. I actually think that out of recent fired OCs that are getting back on their feet, I think Slowick's a guy who could have a head coaching job here in the near future. Um, I think that Stroud's regression without him is clear as day, and I do really like him and his offensive play calling. I understand that it was a bit limited in Stroud's sophomore season, but I don't think that was mostly on him. I think he had a lot more issues going on with the O line and other stuff in Houston. So I do really like Slowick. But as far as Jeff Hafley goes, it's more of like a Vic Fangio, Vance Joseph, like it's really a nothing burger hire for me. I think he's probably going to get canned in 2 to 3 years, and I don't see him having much success with the Dolphins. They're just not in a position to win right now. They have the worst quarterback situation in the league, and Halfley is going to need a long leash to really turn this team around. And quite frankly, I just don't think that Slowick sticks around long enough to drag him to the playoffs.
I think that he will get a long leash because there is a new GM as well. It's a very fresh start for the organization, which does typically tend to allow, give the first coach some more breathing room here. I think they understand that it's going to be a long process to get this team to where they want to be, within the next 5 years or whatever. Not saying he sticks around for 5 years, especially if he does a bad job, but you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this feels very similar in a lot of ways to the Mike LaFleur hire in Arizona. It's very fresh hire with someone with not too much experience. But the positive that I do take away from this hire over the Mike LaFleur hire is that there is a line of success in Jeff Hafley's career. With Boston College first, it was a good program. And then going up into defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, did a really, really great job and improved that defense greatly. I see you disagree with the Boston College thing. I mean, it's Boston College. It's not going to compete with Georgia, but
I think he did a pretty decent job for where he was.
but my point being, like, there is more of a consistent line of success there, in my opinion, than there is with like a Mike LaFleur, which we talked about being fired as the Jets offensive coordinator just a few years ago, as one example. So I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I do think that at the time of the hiring, there were still better candidates available. So I'm going to give this a C plus, very slightly positive though, with the C plus. Okay. Next up, the Las Vegas Raiders, one of the more new or more recent hires, maybe the most recent hire actually, on this list here. They hired Clint Kubiak to replace Pete Carroll. Jacob, what do you got?
I'm not high on the Clint Kubiak hire. It's a C minus. I just don't like his play calling. I had him in New Orleans for a year. He gets a promotion going to Seattle, or gets a better job at least going to Seattle. Um, has the best receiver in the league, has one of the best running backs in the league, has a top 10 offensive line, and has Sam Darnold, who, let's face it, has number one overall talent, and is finally realizing that in the NFL. Makes sense that his offense is having success, is what I'm getting at. I don't know. For me, it
I
doesn't move the needle. I don't see him lasting more than 3 years in Las Vegas. And I personally don't see his offense having that much success with Fernando Mendoza, with only really having Brock Bowers on there to. I mean, it's Mendoza, Bowers, and Gianti, but outside of that, there's a lot of rebuilding in
Is
Vegas.
it really a lock to go Mendoza? I think they should really consider trading down.
I
And
Here's the problem, because I've been saying,
they should trade down,
yeah,
but they're not going to.
Right.
Okay.
That's kind of been my take this whole leading up to the draft as well. Like, if I'm the Raiders, what would I do? I would trade down and take a flyer on a
So
Malik Willis or
fast.
something, right? Like, that to me seems like the best course of action going forward. And then if Malik Willis sucks, guess what? Should be a much stronger quarterback class next season, and you're probably picking top 5 if Malik Willis sucks. That would be the route I go. The
Although I
problem is,
agree.
hold on. The problem is that they just did that with Geno Smith. They just signed the veteran quarterback for multiple years while they traded for him as well, right? They already did this thing when they could have completely reset, right? They could have completely reset and gotten a top 5 pick 3 years ago, or not 3 years ago, last season. But instead, they roll with Geno Smith and thinking that that's going to patch up some holes. It ultimately did and completely failed. I think the rest of the front office is going to be scared of doing that again, and that's why they won't. Would I do it? Absolutely. Are they going to? Absolutely not.
Right.
Valid.
Vitor, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. So what Jacob said about Kubiak having all these great things about the Seattle offense, which I completely agree. By the way, I do think there's a lot of good things going for that offense. The issue is, I think there's been a clear jump to JSN once he came in, and I think that has to come from somewhere. Now, obviously, Darnold was playing good already.
Probably because DK and Tyler Lockett are not there.
Okay, fair, but I mean, come on, dude. We got to give the guy some credit.
I don't know about that one. The real credit, I think, comes with continuing Darnold's success. The play calling has been a lot better, especially compared to Grubb last season. The run game has been more balanced. Last season, it felt like they didn't really have an identity there. They had 2 really strong backs. This year, it feels a little bit more focused. So there are a lot of things philosophically in the offense that you can point to that has improved versus just the individual performances of some players. Again, outside of the quarterback, I do think keeping that success with Darnold can be partially accredited to him as well. But Darnold's also had pretty strong offensive minds since leaving San Francisco. Shanahan, then he had O'Connell, which obviously that was a mistake letting him go. Now Kubiak, like, he's had very smart people coaching him for the last 3 years.
Right.
As for the grade for me, real quick, this feels very Dave Canales-esque for me, where I just don't know if he's going to have a long enough leash that we can see this through. And what? I'm higher on Canales, of course, but this is very similar.
Okay.
This is very, very similar. Canales coaching up.
Canales is a way more unique offensive mind,
It's more.
in my opinion.
It's more of a comparison of situations than I am saying of quality. I do think Kubiak is a good coach, and we'll see if that is, ends up being successful there. But I, of course, loved Canales hire. This is a little bit weaker, of course, but it's very similar. Getting a top player, and in the same draft at that, Canales did with Baker Mayfield, got him looking really good, like a top 10 level quarterback, and then leaving, and we've seen a bit of a decline since then. Similarly here, who knows what'll happen with Darnold in the next few years. Hopefully that doesn't happen, just because we want to see good football. But
yeah, but I don't know. I feel like the Canales and Cohen, I feel like this disciple tree is a lot more modernized offense than the Kubiak
and
offense is.
That's fair too. But you have to keep in mind this Kubiak Shanahan tree is also big time West Coast, which is still a very modern example of calling offensive plays. There are certainly a lot more rudimentary styles of calling an offense that are still being used in the NFL. This is still a very modern approach.
Yeah, but the vertical run is what's most effective right now. Spread and shoot, vertical run, get your guys out and running in space. That is what is winning with the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills. That is what you want to follow.
Well, the Chiefs also went 6-11 this year. The Eagles did. They just won a Super Bowl, but they just lost. They didn't win a playoff game this year. The Buffalo Bills have never made it to the Super Bowl at all. I just don't know if that's necessarily true either. I just think it really comes down to personnel on the field on top of the coaching. That's where the problem arises. The Raiders don't have that yet, and I just don't know if Kubiak's going to have the leash that Canales seems to have right now with Carolina, especially after making the playoffs this year.
I think Fernando Mendoza is also a bit more mobile than Kubiak will take advantage of.
Maybe, and that will remain to be seen. But for now, because I am optimistic and because I do see the Canales comparisons, again, Canales is much better. But I'm going to give this a B minus, like very teetering right in between there for me. Vitor, do you
Fair
have a
enough.
grade?
I think I'm right there with you. From what I said, I'll probably put like a C plus. I think
Okay.
B minus C plus around there.
Anything else you'd like to add, or did we kind of get the gist of your points?
I think so. I mean, maybe I'm a little higher than Jacob, and I'm right about as you. I think.
Okay. Next up, the Buffalo Bills. Oh, this will be a doozy. they fire Sean McDermott after the playoff loss, and then they hire Joe Brady, who was already the offensive coordinator for the Bills. Jacob, let's hear it.
B minus, D minus.
Okay, yeah.
It's not as bad as the other two hires that got an F grade. That's all I can say.
Okay. Vitor, you in the same boat there?
Oh, I totally am. I totally am. I have a friend of mine, a Dolphins fan, who was dying to see Joe Brady in Miami because he wanted Joe Brady in Miami. And I'm like, dude, you cannot be serious that you want this guy in Miami. Like, yeah, he fixed the run game in Buffalo. He made James Cook like a, all-star that he is. But he makes Josh Allen like he clearly holds back Josh Allen in my perspective. Like the play calling is very soft. It's very conservative. So
Joe
I'm
Brady also cost them a game against the Patriots because he benched James Cook for a fumble, and they couldn't run the ball without James Cook for an entire half and got in a deficit. And then they decided to put him back in, and it was too late. Not this year, but last year. And that was all on Joe Brady.
Listen, at the end of the day, this is easily one of the weakest hires in the class, and it's a
Right.
class that is not particularly very strong, as we've talked about multiple times, or at least I have. This screams D minus, similar to what Jacob said. Teetering on F for me because I've been so critical, not just this season of Joe Brady, but ever since he took over as offensive coordinator. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is just not a good offense. It's not good play calling. It's Josh Allen versus the world, James Cook versus the world. Two guys even playing against their own teammates in some cases. At least philosophically,
You
it looks
also
like
had the
that.
obvious hire with Dabble.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you wanted to go back to that, but I just want something new up there. It's the same shit, different story. And I feel like, unfortunately for the good players on this team, like it's going to be the same shit, different story next season. Nothing's really going to improve or maybe it gets worse because they don't improve, right? If you're standing still,
You know
you're
what would have went
behind.
crazy? Lincoln Riley in Buffalo.
God, I don't know about that one, Chief.
You don't think that has fun?
I think it would be fun, but I don't think it would work. At least in the long run.
Dude, I think that would be electric, must-see TV.
That I will
We
agree
would
with,
see
but
NFL records
I
broken.
just don't see I don't see the success. I see the TV ratings for sure. But, so yeah, we're all equally super low on this one. It just, again, so safe. Like, why even fire McDermott if you're gonna just stick with Joe Brady? It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Next up,
And the press conference was abysmal, by the way. That has to knock out some points.
Sure. I mean, that's why I'm teetering on F, frankly.
Yeah.
Next up, we have two more head coaches. Yeah, two more. Next up, the Kevin Stefanski replacing Raheem Morris in Atlanta as their head coach.
They're probably going to win the division next year and then lose in the playoffs and stay middling for 5 more years and then fire him.
Maybe.
So whatever you want to give a grade for that. C, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Vitor, what do you think? You're more high on Stefanski than Jacob and I.
I'm not necessarily high on him. I think he just fit the type of guy I wanted in Miami. So I mean, I guess for Atlanta, I think it's an upgrade over Raheem Morris because Raheem Morris pissed me off.
Well, yeah.
So off
Dude,
of
he's
that,
the most frustrating coach. Oh my god.
Yeah, isn't he your defensive coordinator now?
Yes, he is. He's the Niners
Is he?
defensive coordinator.
Wait until you got blown out, right? 35-0, and you see him being buddy with.
Well, we're
Sean
not going to
McVay.
get blown out like that. Don't. That's not a problem.
Okay. All right. Wait until he's buddy with Sean McVay after the game.
Oh.
Anyway, as a grade, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's what Atlanta needed, honestly. I mean, it's what I wanted for Miami.
Just give it a C. Just give it the C and move on.
Just give it
like
the
this
C,
is
bro.
this is the most obvious middle of the pack hire,
Right?
In
Like,
this
it has
entire
to be.
circuit.
It has
Like
to be. I
it's
agree.
so
I
clear.
agree. It has to be.
Kevin C. Stan 7. Oh fuck! I stuttered it. Kevin C. Stans. Yeah, Stefanski.
Yeah, I'm giving it a C
Fair
as
enough.
well. I'm a little intrigued by, similar to what Jacob said, like the immediate output. Like this, out of all the hires, this might end up being the most successful team in 2026 out of these teams, because it's a weak division, and he's an offensive coach, and they have offensive pieces. Who knows what's happening at
Kirk
quarterback?
Cousins will probably have one more year of decent play.
Yep. And he of course his best years were under Stefanski. So like, yeah, like I could definitely see that happening. What happens after that, I really just don't know, because I don't trust Stefanski to
It's the Michael
operate a team in
Penix
that
effect.
capacity.
It's just the Michael Penix effect.
yeah, just get a backup for Michael Penix every year and have them play over him, and you'll be very successful. But so yeah, very simply a C, and it was fairly early in the. I mean, I don't know how much better they would have done with if they got Robert Saleh instead. I don't see that either. So maybe it's a better fit than a lot of the other guys
If
that
they
were
brought
available.
in Saleh, I would have hated that hire too. Low-key.
Yeah, like that's not a good fit, right? So I think as far as fits, maybe this is the best thing that they could have gotten, but it's just not. It's just nothing to write home about. It's not attractive.
Nope.
Right.
I'm sure Falcons fans are happy. though.
Honestly speaking, they should have hired John Gruden. John Gruden would have been a great hire for Atlanta.
Is John Gruden interested in coming back though? I feel like he's just happy analyzing games and.
I thought he got an interview.
Oh. Okay.
He might not have got an interview, but I feel like he got a call. I don't know. He's definitely had his name brought back in the discussion, because his name got kind of cleared in public media over the last year and a
Yeah,
half.
I mean it should have been. They literally, like, the NFL literally again. They had this huge scandal that involved huge high up officials at the NFL, and they scapegoated John Gruden for it. It's unbelievable that happened. I still, wild fucking story. Anyway,
Yeah. John Gruden is going to be an A+ hire if he gets hired by pretty much anybody. For me, anyways. I'm a big fan of him. Just as a person. I really,
very
the
smart.
whole Migos clip is just so likable.
yeah, he's just a very smart guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Last one here, as far as head coaches are concerned, and that's mostly
F.
what we're talking about. This is Jacob's
Yeah,
worst
F.
hire. Vitor's
Todd
worst hire
F.
too,
Monken,
apparently.
Todd fucking Monken.
It is Todd Monken replacing Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland for the Browns
Real
head
quick,
coaching
let me
job.
just get this out. Todd, you look like a clown when you come into a head coaching job, and the first thing you say is talking shit on the defensive coordinator of the team that just had the
Clown.
defensive player of the year.
Clown, total
You
clown.
sound stupid. You sound
Yeah.
really fucking dumb, because your whole insult is how he didn't use Myles Garrett right when Myles Garrett just broke the sack record. You sound fucking stupid. Shut up. You're going to get fired in 2 years. You're not a head coach. You should have got fired as an offensive coordinator.
Does
You
he even
do not
last 2 years?
belong.
Here's the
I
thing,
mean,
like,
the Browns are going to be. How many contracts are the Browns going to be paying out?
I don't know. Here's the
for
irony.
Fired people.
Here's the irony about the Browns, though. Like, we know that Mike McDaniel wanted that job, or was at least interested in that job before taking the job as the OC for the Chargers, right? We know that people were interested because it's an intriguing team. It's a very solid defense, well coached with Jim Schwartz before he left, right? And there are pieces offensively that you could get something cooking, and maybe one of the rookie quarterbacks does end up panning out, or whatever it may be. Like, there's intrigue there. But the Browns are just so inept, and I can't believe, like, Andrew Berry, like, this is the biggest case of total ineptitude that Berry has had, because I feel like we've been more positive than negative on Andrew Berry.
We've been pro Berry.
But I just can't believe that out of all the people that seemed interested in the job and they just did not reach out to those people and then they took other jobs elsewhere, like this might have been the best possible scenario that for the Browns, ironically. Like and it's not good, right? It's just so it's hilariously ironic that this is the case. That said, I guess I'm gonna give out a second F. Yeah, just because of that press conference. This is my second F. I still think Mike McCarthy hire is worse for me, in my opinion, but I do think Mike McCarthy lasts longer, just because it's the Steelers. I think Munkin is a 1-year fire. McCarthy has 2 or 3 years.
At least in Munkin.
Maybe
I think Munkin is just lost.
And that might be right, but also I just think the Steelers as a team identity have a higher floor too. So I don't know how much McCarthy adds to that floor or raises that floor, you know what I mean? Whereas like Harbaugh obviously is a big floor raiser.
At least with the fucking Todd Monken hire, I can guarantee that Shedeur Sanders will not be starting quarterback for 2027.
Yeah, that'll ruin his career. Whatever little bit of optimism there is left will be gone by then.
Yeah, there's no chance of him developing that guy.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
Yeah, so he's just a bad, like, he's not a good offensive mind. We've seen that multiple times. He's been fired from multiple jobs for a bad offensive output. It was really bad in Baltimore at the end there. Talking shit on on the staff that was there, Jim Schwartz, who was actually a very good coach, and he's going to get a job somewhere if he hasn't already. I don't think he has, but he's going to get a job and he's going to be successful elsewhere. So, like, yeah, it's
Jim
not
Schwartz,
looking good.
who also interviewed for the head coaching position, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised they didn't, like, that would have been the best case scenario for the Browns, actually. Not Munkin. So even in the ironic scenario, it's still not the best case. They could have just kept the guy who's been a good coach for them for like 5 years now. Crazy stuff. But yeah.
Ineptitude in definition form.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we mostly agree on a lot of stuff. I think the most variance there was Clint Kubiak, which makes sense. It's a young offensive guy who has a lot of inspirations from a lot of different places, namely, of course, his father. But it's also to a team with just a lot of question marks. So we just
wait,
don't really
who's
know.
Clint Kubiak's father? I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, I knew better than to answer that question. But
Harry!
Yep. But there we go. So those are the head coaching hires, and last but certainly not least, and what will be the title of the video, even though we've spent 90 minutes talking about other stuff. The Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll have a disclaimer. Super Bowl picks in last 5 minutes. Newsflash, we're all picking the Seahawks.
No.
Except for Anthony, because he's not going to pick his division rival.
Do I think the Seahawks win? Yeah, probably. Am I picking the Seahawks to win? Absolutely fucking not. This was exactly how I wanted it. I wanted the Rams to lose in the conference championship so the Seahawks advance. Then I wanted the Patriots to beat them because fuck the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. No shot.
Preferably by 1 yard line interception.
That would be hilarious if that happened again. No, but now the Seahawks would know to run the ball, It would have to be a fumble.
Nah, dude, Darnold said he's passing it if it's not Marshawn.
Imagine that, though. They fucking run it at the 1 and it's a fumble this time. So now it's like no matter what would have happened, it would have failed.
I think it's funnier if he throws another pick.
I don't know. I like both options, really. I think both are so funny.
Do you see that Darnold said that he would pass it?
I mean, I get why would you not hand the ball off, but also like there are so many passes that you could make. There are so many pass plays that you could run that would be successful from 1 yard out. They chose the wrong one. Russell Wilson chose the wrong receiver to throw to, just like, yeah. If we're being honest. That's all.
Yeah. They just didn't have the Patrick Mahomes formula of the sprint out to the tight end coming across on the motion.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. They didn't have that glitch tech yet.
Do we have what about some like bold takes or score predictions just to elongate our Super Bowl picks a little bit?
The score prediction I have, just so that way it's at least a little bit fun, because I do think that it is going to be a decent scoring game, is 27-24 Seattle.
Okay. Any bold predictions? Like, does a crazy player
Drake
score a
May.
touchdown or something?
Drake May balls out and Ramondre Stevenson fumbles inside the 10-yard line,
Okay.
and it costs the Patriots.
Okay. That would be a tragic bit of irony for sure.
That the Oklahoma fan is predicting that.
Vitor, score prediction, bold predictions, any of that?
20-point differential. Kenneth Walker wins the MVP.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic.
Do we get a Kenneth Walker Beastquake?
Ooh.
I would love that.
Okay. I think not that this would be the most fun, but I really think like a just really impressive defense would be a blast. Because we had a blowout last year, we had a shootout 3 years ago, and both of them were, of course, Chiefs Eagles that I'm referring to. Like, I really want, like, we still have scoring and we still have competent offense, but the defenses really tell the story of this game. And, you know, the defense that gets the extra stop is the team that wins this game. So I'm going to go like 20-17 New England, and our MVP is going to be Christian Gonzalez because it's fun. He intercepts Darnold once, forces another fumble, like 7 tackles.
Is it fun? Is it fun? Who's it fun for?
Me.
Dude, I want something stupid like a Mac Hollins Super Bowl MVP.
Yes, yeah, there we go. Matt Collins, yeah. Who would be the least likely but still plausible person to win Super Bowl MVP here? Like Jake Bobo or Rashid Shaheed, like he returns 2 touchdowns or something. Yeah, I could see that one.
Man. I can see Rashid getting a seam route for a tutty.
You know what's so funny is like it was a great trade by them at the deadline, and obviously it was necessary because Torrey Horton got injured as well. But Torrey Horton was a really good returner before he got injured too. Like that special teams unit was really excellent for them all year, and that's a huge credit to some of the massive successes they had all season. Was being able to rely on good special teams.
Thank God the Saints basically traded Rashid Shaheed for Devon Vele. You know, thank God we got Devon Vele.
Pretty much, yeah.
PFF's number 4 receiver, by the way. Devon Vele.
What do you have, like 9 receptions this year? Like, he had like no volume, especially early on.
Yeah, I don't fucking know what it was. It might not be number 4, but he's in the top 10 for some stupid reason. Devon.
He had 25 receptions for 293 yards and 2 touchdowns this season. His most productive week was against Miami. He had 8 catches for 93 yards and a touchdown. There you go.
But of course it was.
Yeah, of course. Makes perfect sense.
It really does.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. It's been a long episode, much longer than we anticipated, but, you know, we had fun chatting about other things than game predictions
really
and power
engaging
rankings.
Coach debates.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was, and it was insightful, even though we mostly agreed. Like, we did still have some moments where we were really able to hash out our ideas, which is always a good thing, too. And sometimes minds change, right? Like, I ended up giving the Munkin grade an F, even though I said I probably wasn't going to, because that's just the nature of it. You know, you think more about something and your mind changes.
Yeah.
All right. Jacob, you opened us up this episode. So, Vitor, how about you close us out?
I will close this out by saying that Jeff Hafley is really an S+ tier higher. So, let's all join the hype train. And I'll you know, you're the Niners fan, but I really do believe Shanahan should win Coach of the Year. So I'm going to leave on that. That's probably my firmest take in this award cycle. But other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking to the end here. Of course, you're here to really listen to me, and thank you for coming. But leave it a like, subscribe, comment, share. Tell me why Anthony looks so much better with this haircut. Look how beautiful he looks.
Really? Because
he does look so.
I was talking about it. Like I don't know if I look better with the short hair. Because especially on camera, I think on camera the longer hair works better. I don't know, but comment down below if you prefer this look over.
Let me tell you this, Anthony. You look good in any way, man. You can shave your head.
Oh shucks. Well, thank you. I do it myself. I guess that's the most impressive thing about it.
What a talented man.
Get this man into barber school.
Fuck no. That sounds so boring. Oh, no. Hey, but it saves me $30 a month, right? Doing it myself. That's the truth.
You guys go every month?
Talent. I usually cut my hair every month, yeah.
Dude, I probably don't go to the fucking salon because I have to go to the salon, right? Mm-hmm. I probably don't go every, like, I don't know, every 5 months, maybe at most. It's usually maybe like 8.
So, all right, let's wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been Coast Ball.
See you guys.
Peace, everyone.